Hello and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Okay guys, got a good one here for you. We are back again with No BS Crypto and another good video here by No BS Crypto. So as always, I've got to just drop my 2 cents onto this. No BS Crypto, before I do start, I just have to quickly say, he acknowledged the video that I'd done covering him before and dropped me a comment, really supportive. I just want to say thank you for that. I really appreciate it. First and foremost, the fact that you even see me, because you're such a big channel. So the fact that you'd even seen my video and you was just so positive. So I really appreciate that. So thank you. And I will obviously continue to cover your content because it is good. So, you know, I've just noticed that we're very much on the same page when it comes to a lot of this, which, you know, generally speaking, when you've got people who are doing research and stuff like that, we generally are like-minded. So it's not really that surprising. But yeah, my thoughts generally do really align with this guy, so really like his content. So we've got another good video here for you. I've basically done my usual bullet points and I'm just going to go through some of the things that he's discussed, and I'm obviously just going to add my usual 2 cents in as we go along. Okay, right, so let's go with the title first and foremost. He's just brought 50,000 HBAR. Now, as we get deeper into the video, you will actually find out that he actually brought before that 500,000 HBAR. So this guy's mega bullish on HBAR, man. I love that. I love it, man. That's great to see. I don't have that much. I have nowhere near that much, so I will just make that clear. That's not to say that it's because I don't believe in the project. I just haven't got the funds to do that kind of purchase. So really great to see though, because look, the fact that he's willing to show you this just tells you how like confident he is in the project, right? Like he's not just doing the videos and not backing up his talk. He's putting his money where his mouth is, right? He clearly believes in the project. So straight away, that gives a lot of credibility to his content, right? Because he's clearly invested for a reason, right? He's not just doing these videos, but he's not really even invested or anything like that. And he has said that he's put proof out there so that you can see through his channel, through his private channel. So if you guys are interested, obviously join his channel. He is a very informative content creator. So let's get into this. Let's go through some of the things that he's talking about. He's saying that he believes very soon that HBAR is going to get to roughly around 20 cents. Now, he's not saying that that's what he thinks is like the peak rally for HBAR. He's just saying that he thinks that's going to be the next like local resistance and support. So he's basically saying he's going to get to 20 cents and he reckons that's where it's going to basically be staying stable at for, you know, the foreseeable future. I don't know anything like that. I can't really give any kind of answers to that because I don't do TA or anything like that. So I can't give any kind of agreement or disagreement or anything. But he's got his reasons as to why he believes this. And as we go through the video, you can make up your mind. Like, to me, a lot of the things that he's saying, I'm definitely agreeing with. And one of the things that I really want to get into, it's more towards the end of the video, but one thing that we have both covered, and when I heard what he had said, because I didn't know until I watched this video what his thoughts were, but it was in regards to the HBAR allocation. And when he was saying what he was saying, I was like, this is exactly what I was trying to say to my audience. Like, I was literally saying the same thing. So again, I was just like, yeah, we're definitely on the same page. Yeah. So yeah, let's get into this. One of the things he starts off with is he says that HBAR hasn't been like one of the biggest gainers so far and that other coins have performed better. And he's saying that, you know, when you kind of look at your comments and, you know, you look around on X and stuff like that, he can see that that's affected people. You know, people are saying like, oh, well, you know, all these other coins are performing better. You know, why isn't it taking off? Look, guys, this is the thing with that. It's easy to think this when you're only invested in one crypto, right? Like, when you look at the market, there's other cryptos that are not performing as well as others, right? Like, not every crypto has performed like Solana, right? So it's easy to just compare it to the cryptos that are doing well. But at the end of the day, it's not just HBAR, right? Like, it's not really just HBAR alone that's performing like that. And one example I can give you straight away is XRP, because I'm an XRP holder as well. And I see the exact same thing in the XRP community. Why hasn't XRP taken off yet? What's going on? This is dead. Like, what's going to happen? Is it game over for XRP? Blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing. So you can go into plenty of other communities. There's over 20,000 different cryptos out there, guys. So when you start to look at all the cryptos out there, you'll probably see that many of them aren't performing the way Solana is, right? Like, and this is the way this stuff works. The cryptos rotate in a bull market. It's not a thing where like every crypto takes off together. what happens is the market will gradually rise together because that's just the market generally moving up. But then the profits that are taken out of one crypto rotate into another crypto, and it's just people trying to get as much profit out of different cryptos as they possibly can. It's just the market rotating into different cryptos. So this is why what you'll generally see is the market's generally moving up together because the whole market is, getting money, getting value flowing through it, whatever. But then a exponential rise will happen for one crypto, right? So, you might see Ethereum first, and then after that you may see, XRP, then you may see HBAR, then you might see Cardano, that kind of thing. That's why it happens in kind of like staggered stages, but generally the market is moving upwards, right? Because it's just money mania, right? It's just people buying crypto in general because the mania's here, the euphoria's here, right? The bull market's here. So that's how this generally works. And so you have really got to just wait for, the real exponential rally of any individual crypto. We've already had like a short rally with HBAR, and that should show you that like HBAR has time to do what it needs to do. Like, it's not like anything is wrong with HBAR because it's already done a rally. Now, yeah, again, as I say, you can compare it to other ones and be a bit like, oh, well, it wasn't as good as others. That's not even the point. Like, the thing is that if you're going to just keep judging it by the one thing, by the one metric, and that's like other cryptos, you're looking at it a bit short-sighted. And that's all I can really say. Like, you've got to just start looking at this from a bit of a different mentality. And BS Crypto says this as well. And I agree. I think a lot of people are thinking about this in such a way where you just keep comparing them to other cryptos. Just focus on the cryptos that you're invested in. If you keep trying to compare it to other cryptos, well, okay, there's 20,000 cryptos out there, right? If you've only invested in one out of those 20,000, what was the likelihood that you was going to pick the one that was going to perform the absolute best in the market? Right? Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, the chances of you picking the perfect crypto that was going to just do the best and be the first, like, you really just, you're kind of living in a dream if you think that that's the way that this works. Like, you've got to understand that this is how this goes within the market. So things take their time, things run their course. And then when the market is really in bull run mode, like the real euphoria has come, because believe it or not, this isn't the real euphoria yet. At the moment, it's Bitcoin who's really getting all the love. And yes, we are seeing a bit of cryptos, getting a bit of love off the back of it, but we're not seeing the big exponential rallies yet. Not really. So I think at the end of the day, we've got to just put that to the side. But one of the things that he does mention is that he says, look, HBAR has been steady. And this is one of the things that I said. I had a video before when we was talking about Lewis Jackson, and he was basically saying how he's not really interested in HBAR because he thinks because of the way that they release their tokens and whatnot, the allocations and stuff, he thinks it's going to take a lot longer to get an exponential increase. And I said, look, you can look at this in two ways in regards to HBAR. You can look at it as, oh yeah, it's stable and whatever, it's slow, but you can also look at it as it's stable, so it's secure, right? Like, at the end of the day, when we was in the bear market, HBAR was one of the only cryptos that wasn't losing value dramatically, right? It was one of the only cryptos that wasn't just dramatically dropping in price. So you've got to bear that in mind as well, guys. You've got to take the good with the bad. But to me, the fact that it's stable shows that it's gradually rising, right? It's gradually gaining momentum. So that doesn't mean that it's not going to have like no exponential rally, because we've already seen that, a short version of it recently, and we've seen in the previous bull run it had an exponential rally. So I don't think that that's not going to happen. I'm just saying that we've got to wait for this stuff to really transpire. Like, I think that we've got to just be patient, and I've said that from the get-go. Okay, so he was saying that, again, he prefers the stability because it is peace of mind. And this is what I was saying, like, when you're looking at other cryptos that are just very volatile, like, they jump up that quick in a few days, you got to understand that they can drop in a few days as well. So with HBAR, yeah, it might be a thing of it's not just, continuing to just grow in spikes of like 20%, but the drops can be just as dramatic, guys. Like, if you look at what happened with Bitcoin, right? It tapped a new all-time high and then just dropped thousands of dollars. Now, don't get me wrong, it recovered, but the point that I'm making is it's volatile, right? It goes up thousands of dollars and it drops thousands of dollars. And this is where, if you've not got the mind of a patient investor, this can be way too much for you, because it's extremes of emotions, right? It's extreme euphoria when you're saying like, oh my God, it's rallying so high. But then it's extreme fear when you see it drop so dramatically. Like, oh my God, like, what's happening? Is it going to die? Is this the end? It's the same thing. And so this is why I'm saying it being stable. I think for some, this gives peace of mind, right? Like it's not just kind of being like such big upswings and downswings. It's stable. So that can actually be a positive thing depending on how you look at it. Okay. We then move on, and BS Crypto talks about Credible, who made a video recently. And he was talking about how he's a chart analyst, just to let you know for the record. And he's done a video where he's basically compared HBAR to a Bitcoin pair. A Bitcoin pair, just breaking it down, is just basically, when you compare the project into Bitcoin. So it's like if you was to sell, if you've got HBAR / BTC and you sell, you're going to sell your HBAR into Bitcoin, basically, right? So you're kind of comparing it against Bitcoin, that kind of thing. And so he's saying that when the project is showing strength in that chart, or it's looking like it's coiling, well, when Bitcoin consolidates, it should mean that the value then goes into other projects, i.e. in this instance, HBAR. And yes, I completely agree with that, because if you know how the bull market works, the general idea of how it goes is, and this is just talking historically here, I'm not saying that this is how it's always going to go, I'm not sure, we can't say that, but typically how it goes is you have Bitcoin that goes into the bull run. Bitcoin leads the market, and you have something called Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is just what the dominance Bitcoin has over the market. So if Bitcoin is going high, then obviously it's dominating the market, which is bringing all the rest of the market with it. If Bitcoin dominance drops, what that basically means is now the altcoins are still performing even if Bitcoin isn't performing. So it's kind of like they're decoupling from each other, right? It's meaning that like Bitcoin might be starting to lose strength now, so it's not really getting as much, value going through it. It might be like consolidating, or it may have had its moments, so now it's, starting to drop in value because it's had its run. So it's now doing its like retrace. And then the altcoins are still going though. The altcoins are now outperforming Bitcoin, right? They're still continuing to have their rally. That's when the Bitcoin dominance drops. And that's when typically the indicator is that alt season has begun. When Bitcoin dominance drops, that basically means, okay, it's the altcoins' turn. It's their turn to have their rally now. Like Bitcoin, you've done your thing, you've ran the market. Chill out. Let the altcoins go and do their thing now. That's how it goes. So yeah, that completely makes sense to me. So I completely understand where it's coming from there. So again, if that's how it's looking from what he's saying, Credible, I agree. It's looking that should look good for HBAR. That looks very promising. So Credible has predicted $2 to $5 in this bull run. So, one of the things that BS Crypto said, and I agree with this is why, again, I don't do personal price predictions. He's just saying, look, this is someone's price prediction. It doesn't guarantee it's going to happen. That's just their personal opinion from their research. But the thing that he's saying is it's good because this is someone who's done their own chart analysis. It's someone who's done their own personal research, and they've come to that kind of conclusion. I agree. Again, this is why when I do BS Crypto's videos, I give him credibility because he's doing research. And this is why I do cover him, because he's not someone who's just like, oh man, HBAR, it's just bullish. It's, the governing council. Like, he's actually giving you fundamental information. Like, he's doing fundamental analysis into how he's coming to these conclusions. And that's why I like his content. So this is where I say again, it is just personal price predictions. No one can make guarantees. But if this guy has done his research to come to this conclusion, I at least have to give him that time of day to hear him out. Do you see what I'm saying? And so he's saying $2 to $5. To me, $5, I wasn't aiming that high. Like I've said, pretty much like BS Crypto, $2. I think $3 would be, the best case, really, in my opinion. $2, $1 to $2. For me, I'll just be honest with you. If we get $1, I'm happy. If we get $1, I'm happy. $2, anything of that, you're exceeding my expectations. I'm trying to be a bit more conservative, to be honest. So I'm not saying that that's what I expect. I'm just telling you what I would be happy with, right? $5, he's saying that he thinks it's possible. Okay. If I was to maybe watch a video of him and see him break down the reasons as to why he thinks this is possible, maybe I would change my mind and say, hey, actually, I do think $5 is possible. I don't know. But as it stands right now, just going off of the back of what I'm seeing from this video, $5 is on the high end to me. Like, it's not something that I'm really putting my thoughts into. But hey, who knows, right? Like, his opinion could be more bang on than mine. I don't know, right? We nobody knows for sure. So I'm not going to just dismiss it. But for me, I'm not going to be banking on that kind of figure for me personally. Okay, so the next thing we've got from BS Crypto is he's starting to just check the sentiment, and that's in terms of like interactions, because this is one of the things that he said, and I agree with this. Like, he's saying, you know, interactions and stuff like that, like how much like a project is being talked about on like social media and stuff like that, it is going to define like a project success. He said like utility is kind of like a myth. It's like, you know, it's something that people talk about, but it's not something that really indicates price. I agree with that right now, because right now we're still in like the speculative market. We're not in a utility market right now. Like, cryptos are here and they have amazing things that they can do, but we haven't really got the institutions fully adopting them yet. So right now, I agree, like, utility sounds great, but it doesn't lead the market right now, because as it stands, they are not being utilized, right? So not to its full potential, right? Not to their full potential. And so right now it is about marketing. It really is. Like, when you look at coins like Pepe, you know, these coins that just, Shiba Inu, Dogecoin, you know, these coins are like meme coins, and yet they've done absolutely incredible. Why? Marketing, right? Like, marketing is just that simple. So in this early stage of things, this is how it goes. And you can just compare this to like the .com bubble, when there was all these .com domains that was going around and everybody's trying to buy a .com domain. Not all of these .com domains survived. Like, not all of these companies survived. People were just buying a .com, and then people was thinking, oh yeah, this is going to be the next best thing, because the internet was new, right? And it's the same with crypto. There's 20,000 cryptos out there. Please believe those 20,000 cryptos will not be here after regulations. Like, I'm telling you now, like 98% of cryptos will be gone. Right? Like, they will. And it will be the cryptos that actually serve a purpose and have utility at the end of the day. And this is what I will say in regards to this. This is where it comes to in regards to investing, right? Because a lot of people, you know, they say, oh, well, HBAR's got this, HBAR's got that. This is why I say, like, you've got to understand just the position that we're in right now. We're not in the utility stage of this market right now. We're not. We're still in just speculation. So people just buy into things just based on hype. That's why there's so many like rug pulls and stuff, right? Things come and go. Like, in the last bull run, it was node season. I don't know if you guys have heard of those, but people were making these companies where they just run nodes that were generating people money. Now, for a good while they were working, but these were Ponzi schemes. They were essentially Ponzi schemes. And so that's had its day now. But back then, there were so many node projects. There were so many node projects, and people, you know, if you got in early, you could make real money. Like, it's just a thing of hot potato, right? Who's going to be left with it? Who's going to be left holding the bag? So unfortunately, yeah, there's winners and losers, but it is one of those things. But this is what I mean when I talk about the speculative market. That's not utility. Nodes weren't utility. They may have tried to pull the wool over your eyes and make out like they were utility in what they were doing. But no, these were generally just Ponzi schemes. And again, this is why when we're talking about HBAR, this is ultimately what we're talking about. We're talking about utility. We're talking about a project that will have longevity. It's easy to get distracted by the price. It's easy to just look at a meme coin and say, oh, why didn't I go into that meme coin? Well, because what did it have to offer? You didn't get into it because you didn't think it served any purpose. You thought it was pointless, which it is true. You're just gambling at that point. It may have been successful. It may not have. But I can feel a lot more comfortable with HBAR because I really believe in the long term, institutions will use HBAR. Do you see what I'm saying? So I think that was a real great point. Now, one of the things that he was just talking about is that, you know, HBAR is getting a lot of interactions, but yet the price isn't really growing like the way you would expect it to, considering when you compare it to other cryptos. And that's where he says he thinks that it's undervalued. I agree. I think HBAR is massively undervalued right now. That's just my personal opinion. Clearly, BS Crypto agrees. And, you know, that's where I just see opportunity. You know, when it's undervalued, I see opportunity. You know, so take that for what you will. But yeah, I completely agree with that. Okay, the next thing that he gets into, and this is something I really wanted to discuss with you guys because I've had this with you guys before, and it was quite an interesting experience. The HBAR allocation, when they decided to release 4.86 billion tokens into the market. He was basically saying how, like, you know, he said when he did a video about it at the time covering it, that it's not a bad thing because it's essentially just reinvesting back into the ecosystem, and that's what you want. guys, he's pretty much saying word for word what I've told you guys. Like, everybody was so scared because it's like, oh, tokens being released. Well, first and foremost, we've seen HBAR have a rally, right? And we've seen that it's gone up like, I think it was like 30% in a couple of days, 30-40% in a couple of days. So has the allocation really affected HBAR that much? Not really, no. Now, could we say that if that allocation didn't happen, that it would have gone higher? Maybe, but who knows? We don't know, right? So even with that, that's just speculation. We can't really make no promises. So it may have made that kind of price with or without the allocation. But the point is this: HBAR is still doing price jumps. It is. And if you want to say, well, it's not performing as well as other cryptos, I just refer back to the earlier point in the video. Just look at other cryptos and compare them. There's plenty of other cryptos that are not performing. So it just is what it is right now. We've got to wait for the actual alt season to really begin. We're not at that point yet. We're just not. So in regards to the allocation, guys, it really isn't a bad thing. People just hear allocation, you know, dumping, that kind of thing, token release, all that stuff, and they just think negatively. But if you look at what they're doing, they're reinvesting into the ecosystem. That is what you would want. You want them to continue to build an ecosystem because that's what's going to continue to add value to the network. That's a positive. This is just general business logic, right? Like, this is the kind of thing that you would expect from companies who are trying to expand their businesses. They reinvest back into themselves. That's how this works. You grow a business by reinvesting back into the business, right? It's not a thing where a business can necessarily just keep growing by itself. Sometimes it needs aid, right? That's where you get like business loans and that kind of thing, partnerships, stuff like that. People who can help to continue expanding and helping to grow the network or your business. This is just general business practice. So really nothing to be scared of, guys, in my opinion. Obviously, you feel however you feel, but yeah, to me, it's nothing that really gives me any kind of concern. The next thing that he talks about is Hedera's TVL, just mentioned how it's really been growing exponentially in DeFi specifically. I did a video very recently, and it's in regards to SaucerSwap. And I'm just wondering if SaucerSwap is in regards to that, because I have noticed that SaucerSwap is like accounting for like 80% of HBAR's TVL. So very high number there. Like, they're playing a very significant part in regards to HBAR. So I'm wondering if that's what it is, because I've noticed that they're just going from strength to strength. Like, SaucerSwap is really growing like exponentially. Like, they really are doing very well. So again, something to really take note of there, because it's just showing you avenues where HBAR is growing and which should hopefully help bring value to the token, you know, long term. The other thing he just started to mention, and I'm not going to go too deep into these because he covered quite a lot of companies in regards to this, is just the gaming sector, which I've covered a couple of times. So it's just stuff that I've generally already covered on my own videos. So I'm not going to go too deep into that, but he's basically talking about like some of the partnerships that they've made and the things that they're doing within the gaming community. I agree. Gaming is a massive industry, so it completely makes sense for them to want to try and get into that industry and see if they can tap into that market. I just see value in there. I really do. So if they can really get a real good foot in the door with regards to that market, I just see profit. I just see profit and value. You know, that's all that's going to mean. So yes, I completely agree in regards to the stuff they said about gaming. Just going to keep that short and sweet. And then just towards the end, we've got him here just covering the whole thing about the Hedera Council. And he's basically saying how Hedera Council, I think it's 39 total they want to have, and they're almost at their limit. They're almost at the limit of the full amount of council members that they can have. And what does that mean after the governing council is full? Well, after that comes permissioned nodes, right? And after permissioned nodes comes permissionless nodes. Permissionless nodes is basically when everybody can create a node on the network. So that's when we're working towards true decentralization, right? So that is going to be a huge thing for Hedera. And he was basically saying how he believes that could be a real big factor in regards to HBAR's price. He thinks that once that really does start getting going, like the permission nodes and the permissionless nodes, he thinks that could be a huge factor to bring a lot of value to HBAR. So that's the main gist of the stuff that I saw there that I wanted to cover. Great video here from BS Crypto, very much on the same lines of him with the majority of the things that he's covered here. Is HBAR going to get to like 20 cents price with some of the things that he's discussed? Very interesting to see. You know, like, again, we're not saying that HBAR is going to blow off at 20 cents here. We're just saying that that's like the new local level that it's going to get to. That's going to be where the resistance is. So that just basically means that it's going to be like just leveling around 20 cents, and it may go higher, but it may drop that down to like 20 cents. But like 20 cents will be like the support level where it doesn't really drop too much below that level for the remaining time until, you know, maybe the bull runs over or something. I'm not sure. But very exciting to hear if that is the case, because that's already quite a big increase. And then where are we looking to go from there? You know, how high could it go from there? So, very interesting to hear here. Very interesting points. And, you know, $2 to $5. Look, as I said, it's not something that I'm really putting my hat on in terms of $5, but hey, I hope he's right. You know what I mean? Like, in that kind of sense, I'd love to be wrong if that's the case. I'd love it to go to $5. Me personally, I think that's on the high end, but yeah, if that's possible, I'm all for it. Like, you know, I'm all for whatever we can get out of this. But yeah, just to reiterate, one last thing, you know, BS Crypto, him buying 500,000 HBAR, I think that should show you straight away. Like, again, this is a guy who is clearly well invested into this project, and he's not just talking, he's really putting his money where his mouth is. So that should show you again that he really does believe in this project. Like, he's not just doing videos on it for, you know, for content. He really does believe in the project, and to be that well invested, it says a lot, because, you know, 500,000 HBAR isn't cheap. So that's a lot of money, and I'll be honest with you, I think he'll be very happy with that in the long term, because I think he's going to make a lot of money out of that investment. I think that's going to very much pay off for him handsomely. So yeah, good luck to him, and good luck to you guys out there as well. Like, look, the market is really heating up now. A lot of analysts are saying this is going to be the biggest alt season we've ever seen. So I'm really excited, because I was in the previous bull run, and I can tell you now, it's absolute insanity. So I am more than here for it. I am more than ready. So if you guys are, like, good luck. And listen, even if you're not holding HBAR, whatever cryptos you guys are holding, good luck to you all. Like, I just want everybody to have their chance to make money. Like, this is an incredible opportunity that not everybody gets. So I hope everybody really does get their opportunity to make the most of it and really make life-changing wealth for themselves. So best of luck to you guys out there. Once again, thank you, BS Crypto. Really appreciate your support, and thank you for letting me cover your content. I appreciate that too. And I'll definitely continue to cover your stuff, because, again, I really like your content. So keep up the good work. But what do you guys think with everything that you've heard from this video? Do you like what you've heard? Is there anything in particular that's made you especially bullish with HBAR? Do you agree with all the things that you've heard will be great for HBAR's price? Or do you not like the video that you've heard today? Is there anything in particular that we've covered that gives you any cause for concern? Or do you just think that nothing that we've covered today will be good for HBAR's price overall long term? Let me know your thoughts, guys. I'd be interested to hear. Thank you very much for watching this. If you did like it, please remember to drop a comment, like, and subscribe. But until next time, take care.